How many homes need healing? And the house can't get healed if the people in it can't be healed. And sometimes you can't be healed if you don't admit you have an issue.
I thought I needed a marketing growth hack. Turns out, what I really need today is a spiritual growth hack. I found that in T.D.Jakes.
And it's hard to admit you have an issue when the issue is your normal. And I'm just wondering today how much better life might be for some of the people in this room and some of the people watching over the internet and some of the people who you work with that you're going to take this DVD to and make it a gift to them. I'm wondering how much better life might be if you would change your normal.
I realized that I had missed my blessing of being with B because I was too angry at my ex to be present for him. Had I forgiven a long time ago, I probably would be already carrying his baby. I am angry. I am angry because those who I have trusted the most have gone out of integrity, and they hide in guilt and shame. And I don't know any way to draw them out because I'm still angry. And perhaps they're afraid that I would condemn them again. That's why I can only give my anger to God.
I so highly respect her. I so highly respect her as my wife. I respect my wife to the point that there are certain places I will not take my wife. Everything has to be a certain way for me to bring her into that atmosphere. I highly respect her. I respect her to the point that if I'm irritated, and men are good for this, I can be irritated and she not know it, and worse still, I can be irritated about her not doing something that I never said. And I'm mad because she doesn't pick it up through the spirit or something. Or I'm angry because what seems like common sense to me might not be common sense to her, and I'm wanting her to get something that I haven't done a real good job of articulating. I'm wanting a response without a stimulus, and over time, a period of disappointment, I get angry, and because I respect her, I won't let myself be angry outwardly, so I'm angry inside of myself and I don't even know it.
I'm angry. I'm angry at myself for not seeking help during the time that my parents' marriage was on the rocks and I held the anger in. I was angry at my father for loving another woman. I was angry at the other woman for being a homewrecker. And I took it out on my husband. I made him out to be that trifling guy for an entire year. So finally, out of anger, I created that scenario into existence in my own home. I pushed him away towards another woman, and I was angry at the other woman for being the homewrecker. And I was angry at him for being the trifling man. You can say I had even set it up subconsciously. Out of anger.
I'm committed to not being outwardly angry because my father was that. And because he was so much that, I am the antithesis. I would rather swallow it than release it because I have the kind of temper that if I would release it, I don't know where it would go. I'm just absolutely scared of it. It's not that I'm bad, it's just that I'm crazy.
I want you to know that I love you. And baby, I want to say something. Thank you for being in my life. Thank you for being the ever-present witness to my growth and to your growth. We've come a long way together, Fox. I'm angry at myself for not commanding more value at work. I was staying late at night doing work without pay, creating curriculum that I wasn't asked to, and doing all this knowing that this wasn't the right direction that I wanted to be in. And after I got laid off because I took sides and the boss didn't like the side I took, and because perhaps I was one of the highest paid teachers in the inner city, and they had to cut the pay, not realizing they were also cutting quality. Or just perhaps I didn't fit in black culture. Perhaps I was and will always be a foreigner in the eyes of the inner city. I chose to marginalize myself among the marginalized. Perhaps I looked down on poverty mentality, yet now I share in that same mentality. I fight the fear of scarcity, thinking every day while I'm acting like I'm wealthy, which I know deep down I am wealthy. I still fight. And sometimes I lose into the fear of scarcity.
Many men and women that creates unexpressed bitterness and discontentment that can manifest in depression and eating disorders and everything else, because either we are overly confrontational and we're all up in their face, or we internalize and we don't confront at all, and we want people to understand what we're unable to express. Why is it that we hurt the ones that we love and are polite to those who don't even love us?
Somewhere deep down inside, the anger I had suppressed in my adolescence came out in vitriols towards the one person who loved me the most. I'm angry at my ex-husband for not holding it down when times were rough. He bailed. I suggested marriage therapy and he didn't even give it a try. He didn't even offer to look for someone to help out my anger. He told me to stop drinking while he had a bar full of liquor on the counters and refused to take them down. He said it was my responsibility, and it was. He told me to stop smoking myself if I complained so much about my breathing, but he was smoking like a chimney. I asked him to stop with me, but he couldn't do it. I married someone just like me. Self-centered, narcissistic. And now my other half is gone. I have no one to project my own inauthenticity towards. Now I have to deal with the full responsibility of being responsible.
See, I don't buy this thing about you can't help it, it's just the way you are. You don't act like that at work. For a paycheck, you stand up with somebody who doesn't love you, you'll never see me. Good morning, welcome to JCPenney's. How are you today? Right over this way is third floor, aisle number 2. If I could be a video of the service to you, let me know. And then you get home, you kick the dog, you slap the cat, urinate in the fish tank, and the whole house is miserable. Because, yeah, I know, because for $5 an hour, $50 an hour, $20 an hour, you can control your anger. But for your own daughter and for your own child, you can't control your anger. I don't buy that you can't control it.
After I sold the house, I attracted another man, charming, good-looking, a businessman, a total fraud. He told me he'd have me on his board in his company. I gave him 9 months of my full-time energy, $5,000 investment in the company. He kept telling me that I would see a return next month, then 2 months later, then 2 months later, Then finally I had to admit that I was defending a fraud and allowing a lying man continue to lie to me. A friend of mine told me that she thought we were sleeping together, a married man. We weren't. But my love for him blinded me. Doing? How's the snow?
Icy.
Icy? Oh. Hi, how you doing?
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good.
It's my first time here and from LA.
Oh, nice.
And I wanted to see if I could get a quote for a board waxing.
We don't wax boards here.
Okay.
So West Portal Tune Shop, which if you keep going down this way, they do board waxes and stuff. I want to say maybe 15 to 20 bucks.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Cool.
It just kind of, right around that price range.
All right, cool.
But yeah, they'll get you taken care of and everything.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
And I hope you don't mind me bringing this camera.
No, not at all.
I'm doing a vlogumentary.
Hi. Welcome to the showcase.
Come on, Fox, let's go.
Have a good day.
You too. Bye.
I don't buy that you can't talk. In the 40 years that I've been pastoring and preaching and teaching the gospel of Jesus Christ, I've sat with countless men who beat their wives and quite a few women who jump on their husbands. Oh, I lost the sisters. And pink dresses got quiet. But I have never known anybody who beat their spouse and loved themselves. Self-loathing creates spousal abuse.
Perhaps I was looking at him like a charity case too. Then when I sued him, I had hired a fraudulent man, the man that would help me win the case for my money and my time. And I did win, but it was underhandedly. I won in court by default because he never received the serve that I paid this lawsuit man to do. So I dropped the lawsuit.
There's going to be some flesh nailing. There's going to be some moments in your life that you have to work on nailing your flesh down, and it's not always about you. That's why some generations find it more difficult to hold marriage together than others, because if you are a narcissistic individual where everything is about you, you will never have a long-standing relationship, because all roads lead to you, and when you're happy, you're there. When you're not happy, you're not there. When you're in, you're out. But life is not like that, sweetheart. You got to come home happy, come home unhappy, come home feeling good, come home feeling bad. You got to be there when your breath stinks, be there when it smells good, be there when things are wonderful. My wife talks about the seasons of relationship: winter, spring, summer, or fall. You got to be there. Then you get to say you're faithful. Then you get to say you're loyal. You don't get to say you're loyal in a month. You don't get to say you're loyal in a year. You don't get to say you're loyal when you just got little kids. Talk to me, not when they're in the stroller. Talk to me after they stole the car.
Competition ski repair shop. Nope, not that. I went snowboarding. I had too much fire in me. I needed cooling off. And sometimes even now I snap at people verbally. It comes as a nasty voice inside my head, a knowledge about them that I can't stand, a knowledge about them that is true, a secret. And I pour it out on paper, or worse yet, I tell it to their faces. I know better than to suppress it. It isn't healthy. Yet, I also know better than to accuse them to their faces. It doesn't help them. It only reinforces the ugly that they already know they have. For though we live in the world, we do not wage war as the world does. 1 Corinthians 10:5, New International Version.
The Bible says if you withhold your body from him, you have defrauded him. Or vice versa, if you withhold your body from her, you have defrauded her. Violence, domestic. And then I'm to be faithful to what? Faithful to your silence, your emptiness, and your distraction. Faithful to your aloofness and disconnection. The Bible says, you're beating me. Men more often than not do it with money. Women more often than not do it with sex. See, Lord, I'm down to 10 amens. I got 10 amens and one no, he didn't. Then there's a verbal rage. I want to talk about verbal rage. Verbal rage isn't necessarily just cursing, and it's not necessarily screaming. It's the things that you know will hurt me and you say them to hurt me. Stripping me of my dignity, stripping me of my pride, going where you're not supposed to go, stripping the person of self-respect. Verbal rage. In a moment of transparency, I open up and expose my vulnerability, and in a moment of anger, you use what I exposed against me. Oh, it's quiet. You belittle the one God called you to build up.
Are you a season pass holder?
Yes.
10:50.
All right, cool.
About 15 minutes.
15 minutes? All right, I'll come back tomorrow. Thank you.
So I'm creating a new way of journaling that can be expressed creatively, so that the person I'm addressing the truth with no longer sees it as my judging, but as an artistic piece, a universal truth that can be served as a mirror.
Come on, Fox, over here. Foxy, hug. Hug, Foxy. Foxy, over here. Over. Here you go, Foxy. Oh my gosh, look at that. You got a pass. You got a pass. You got a pass. It's amazing. She's looking at it. She loves it. Thank you so much. Let's go. Let's go. Let's say hi to everyone. Jen offered to look after Foxy while I snowboard Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays. Coffee and tea open market. Hey. Oh,
Jay, right?
yes.
Okay, come outside this way.
Okay, sure.
So this is our little area.
Uh-huh.
This is where people sit, but a lot of times, because the owners have dogs. By the way, they have a new puppy, and its name is Foxy.
Oh my gosh,
But
that'd be
we
amazing.
would like keep this kitchen door closed.
Oh,
and then
great.
Sort of not blocked. Obviously, there wouldn't be food here.
Yeah, yeah.
But this would be all her
Oh wow.
little spot.
Is there a way to close this so she doesn't escape?
Yeah, we block it off
okay.
with a garbage can, and then there's more over there that we would.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That would be great.
I mean, obviously, it can't be a lot, you
Right,
know?
right.
But and then I would want your phone number probably.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna text it to you.
We're not part of the ski resort.
Yeah, yeah. I love it. I'm gonna get here. I know where to get my lunch now.
Yes.
Thank you.
A mirror is neutral. It reflects the observer's eyes. A mirror stands as the reflector of truth when the observer is ready to become the observed. A mirror can offer true change because it does not insist in its own ways. It does not have an agenda of its own other than to deliver to the observer the truth of what is being observed. Perhaps that is the true definition of an artist.
Thank you. Hi, Jeff. Thanks again. I appreciate it. So I'm doing a vlogumentary series called The Love Story Journal, and it's about people transforming pain into passion. Do you have like a quick soundbite on like how you transformed your pain into this restaurant?
Oh man, no. I wasn't prepared for this. I'd have to think of something. What about you? You got anything off the top of your head? The only pain I can think about is the altitude. I can't breathe. Besides, but I guess you could look at it that way. The altitude's a pain, but it's beautiful, so you can spend time in a beautiful place.
Yeah. And you own this restaurant?
No. I just manage here.
Oh, okay, cool. What brought you here? I mean, are you local here?
No, I'm from New Orleans.
Okay.
I just wanted to get away.
Yeah.
Do something different.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Do you snowboard, ski?
I went snowboarding for the first time in my life last Friday, and it did not go well.
Yeah. It
But
usually doesn't.
I'll give it another crack.
Give it more like 2 seasons.
She's great.
Or 3.
She has experience.
Yeah? You snowboard?
Snowboarding.
Yeah. How long did it take you to carve?
Honestly, I don't know because I've been doing it for so long. I've been doing it since I was a little kid.
She might she might give lessons at the school.
Oh, that's really cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I learned snowboarding only after I was like going through a heartbreak, and then I was like, this sucks, so I just kept falling, and it didn't hurt anymore because I was like, I'm falling anyway, so it's like, so that's how I learned.
What's funny you said that, because actually before I came here I was engaged and got out of an engagement, and that's one of the reasons why I came here, to get away.
Right?
So, yeah.
Isn't that usually the case?
It's
like we
crazy.
just, like something happens and then we travel.
Sometimes positives comes from negatives, you know, yin yang.
Yeah,
so.
Totally.
An artist is one who can be the mirror.
Ain't gonna find it around. It's the same old story, same old song and dance, my friend. It's the same old story, same old story, same old song and dance.
It's really teaching people to empower themselves. And showing them, kind of introducing them to writing this way and kind of looking at this stuff. So anyway, so like the workshop, there's that whole end of it. It looks like to me, I kind of wrote out the class as 3 5-hour days.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at first, it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. However, these are the 3 parts that I think best. Right now, this is what I wrote out. So just want to, real quick, let me go over this and just tell me what you think. Three parts there. Part 1 is, it's like, identify, break open, and create. That's part 1, 2, and 3.
Mm-hmm.
So part 1, you self-identify as, a human being, as yourself, right? Honesty is the most important part, right? Who are you? Why are you doing this? What do you want from it? Then you come to terms with it, and then no matter what you find, that's what you need to express, right?
Mm-hmm.
Part 2 is break open, just like it has to follow similar to the writing. If they don't do the writing, that's the whole reason.
True.
Because I think that first part is paramount. I don't think you can do anything else unless you figure that first part out.
Yeah.
Because that is what you're doing. Otherwise, you're just making a selfie, a vlog or something, and not trying to discover anything. So there's that. 2 is break open. That's the actual writing part. You would have to write.
Yeah.
Not necessarily journal in this, but you have to write because you're going to be, every movie's written, whether it's a documentary or whatever. So this is where you're going to write, brainstorm, come up with a concept for, how you want to shoot it. And also in that same step is learning the technique, which is, taking a look at a few videos just to see, and that's on the second day, not the first day. And then also determining the final concept of what you're going to shoot. And then part 3 is creating it, which is shooting, editing, and the intention, what you're going to do with it.
Yeah, absolutely. So So I see it as Act 1, know thyself in the heroes and know your hero's pursuit.
Yep.
Act 2 would be storyboard, right? And
Yep.
put together the rough draft of what you think the story's going to be.
Learning technique.
And then also in there, I want them to plan out their hero's arc, you know? Like if there's there needs to be some kind of arcing, either in a series or in a one-shot short film. It's up to them. And then Act 3, like you said, it would be just actually executing on it, right?
Yeah.
We could even do an afterwards, like a reflection, you know, where people get together and they watch each other's pieces, give each other feedback, and, you know, if it's, you know, something where like they feel like it's you know, up to a certain standard, then they could submit it for possible publication.
Yeah. And I'm looking at this now too, because the third part, which is actually shooting, editing, and that kind of thing, I mean, they really do that on their own.
Yeah.
They're not going to be shooting on this thing. So maybe the third day, especially obviously online and even in the workshop, would be what you're talking about, is when everyone would come back with what they've done.
Yeah.
We watch them all. We talk about it, and we talk about what's next.
Yeah.
And what and option wise or whatever, and then maybe even try and work it, maybe not at first, but eventually maybe work it into hooking them up with someone to interview, like an artist or something.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, honestly, I almost see like a fourth part to this, which is, I mean, as a student, I would think, okay, I want to submit my rough draft and get feedback. And then from there, revise and then submit again, you know?
And then maybe that can be included. Like, they can still be in contact with us, at least, maybe, for a certain amount of time in between those dates. Like, if they had questions for me or you or something, or you know, something they weren't sure about, instead of showing up on that third day or not showing up on that third day because they just got overwhelmed and didn't do anything, right?
Yeah, and honestly, at this point, I don't know if I can qualify as a documentary filmmaker yet, just because I don't have the expertise to do it. I'm still learning myself. So what I can do is ask some of my network of filmmakers who already do have like a really solid reel to get hired on into the program once you've set it up, you know, or maybe you guys could co-create it. It's up to you, Jim.
Yeah.
But essentially, it wouldn't be me. Like, I would do the journaling one. Yeah.
Right. But, I mean, they'd be able to contact, I mean, maybe, and also having people that have worked with you before that do that kind of stuff that would be willing to be a part of it, and if not, then communicate at least. So, like, maybe someone, if they couldn't be there, if they couldn't be there, help out with a workshop, maybe they're available at a certain time that someone can email them that is taking it with questions in addition to me, or but yeah, that stuff's cool. But as far as and even like the first two, not really the first two, but the first part and like half of the second part can kind of be combined a little bit. So they could be a 3 or a 4 part thing or whatever it means. It's just about making each section as tight as possible. Because I would. Yeah, I mean that's basically it. It's some sound number. I mean, 5 hours for a class, or 3 to 5 hours, or 4 hours. It just depends because
I wouldn't do 5.
It drags on a little bit.
Yeah,
is a good number, I think.
I think 5 is too long, in my point of view. Yeah, I think 3 would be the best for optimal attention span. Because I can't imagine anyone sitting down for 5 hours straight. You know.
Well. No, that's true. So maybe it can be broken up, but it depends on how many people. Like, even just the writing workshop. I mean, I'm sure you didn't intend on some of those classes going as long as they did.
True.
If we can reel it in somehow, you know, I mean, it'll be a hard stop.
That is so beautifully written.
Leadership is about taking responsibility, exercising authority, and using yourself as an instrument of power. To get the work done, you have to be all in, head, heart, and guts. To be an effective boundary-spanning leader, to be an effective boundary-spanning leader, you have to be a learner. You have to expose your assumptions to opposing viewpoints. You have to be willing to have your ideas challenged by people who see the world through different lenses. And you have to be willing to learn from the most unlikely sources. But nobody will be moved by your mastery of ideas. To move others, you have to share your heart. This is where your values meet other people's realities. Understanding what is meaningful to you will give you access to understanding how others value what is meaningful to them.
Learning this stuff, I'm totally self-taught, and I've tested all of this stuff myself. Right now I'm hitting over 1.5 million impressions a month on my Twitter, and I talk about this in the Twitter automation video that's in this package. I've created the biggest growth hacking community on Facebook, over 18,000 members, and I walk through exactly how you can build your group. Everything you can do that I did to build mine is in the Facebook group webinars, which is in this package. This book, Secret Sauce, now, really changed my life. $175,000 in orders. The digital copy of that book is in this package. Also included in this package, the video of how we did this. No paid ad spend, no influencers, no PR. That's in this package as well. I've done a lot of things wrong. I wasted a lot of time trying to find answers on blogs and forums. I wasted a lot of money trying marketing ideas that didn't work. And I listened to a lot of bad advice. But I've also done a lot of things right. I've overseen content seen by over 150 million people. I have nearly 500,000 followers. I've driven hundreds of thousands of